Hi, thanks for taking a look at this next study. I am going over the passage in Matthew chapter 4, verses 13 through 16. This is a pretty short one. So Jesus has arrived in Galilee, and now he's further withdrawing into ultimately Capernaum. And just to restate, the reason he has withdrawn into Galilee is that he heard John the Baptist was arrested, and he is having some concern for his safety. And so he decides to go farther on. He stops in Nazareth, and it's unclear here whether that is a long stop or a short stop. So first, there is a passage in Luke that I did not look at the same time here. It could very well have happened during this little stopover in Nazareth, but it's so similar to some later passages in Matthew and Mark that I just decided to look at them all as one event. But basically, Jesus preaches in the synagogue and people don't go for it. And in the Luke passage, they try to throw him off a cliff. So, he goes to Nazareth because he was nervous about his safety, so he goes home, right? He knows the streets. He feels like he will be safe among people who know him and love him. And then he's either really not received well, or it just wasn't his plan to stay there. And he even said in many passages, a prophet is not received in his hometown. So he didn't necessarily expect for people who had watched him grow up to suddenly, he expected them to, they should have, I guess, but he knew they wouldn't appreciate how he really is the Messiah, because they're like, well, we saw you as a kid. Now, you're a little too big for your britches. But, and that's unfortunate that they all had that attitude, because it really hindered them from salvation. So anyway, back to the story at hand. Jesus is withdrawing, stops in Nazareth, and goes on to Capernaum. Now, in the last study, he had just healed a boy in Capernaum remotely. He wasn't actually there, but he just spoke it, and the nobleman went back, and the child had been healed when he got back. And so the nobleman and his whole household were saved, and they believed in Jesus. So now Jesus heads to Capernaum, and it could be that miracle, and particularly when supported by that nobleman, person of such renown and wealth, that his testimony would have lent Jesus even further credibility and interest among the people of Capernaum. So Capernaum, in addition to not being dangerous for him, possibly because of maybe some political refuge that he could have taken under the guard of the royal official there, but also because of the testimony of the boy's healing, would have also been ripe for harvest for Jesus and his disciples to go there. So take a look at this one. It is pretty short, and hopefully it'll be a nice quick one for you. See you next time.